What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the F124 Ferrari Driver Career Mode. We're back this weekend for the Singapore Grand Prix, and I am absolutely excited. I love this circuit so much. It's just so exhilarating having you brush up against the wall at every single corner, but I guess my main goal this weekend is to just keep it out of the wall because we've had two mechanical-related DNFs in the past two races. And it was our turbocharger that went up in smoke last time out. So, still, no penalties this weekend. And I am going to throw a new MGUK in the car. And, pace was somewhat encouraging in practice, but we won't know until we jump into qualifying. So, yeah, let's do this.
As night falls in Singapore, the track starts to warm up, and it'll be red hot by the time we find out who's on pole for tomorrow's race. Time to set the grid then. Welcome along to qualifying here in Singapore.
Well, here we go now, as I'm going to start my first lap of qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. I'm just going to push flat out, honestly. I know it's only Q1, but I need to get some good laps in as well. Because based on our qualifying performance in Baku last time out, I know we took that grid penalty, but still, we were low down the grid. I don't remember, maybe it was 8th, 7th or 8th. And then now we're going to head down that reprofiled section that used to be a whole twisty, turny bit, but now it's just straight. And of course, in real life, it was revealed this weekend that it's going to be a DRS zone, so haven't added that to the game quite yet. And that's P7 for us. Not great, actually. Well, we are going to have to go back out again. And I'm looking, if I want to be competitive and make it through to Q2, Q3, excuse me, I need to make sure I'm a second faster on this lap, just to see what's representative of my pace. And as we round the final corner, we are 1.3 seconds up on our previous lap, so definitely do have some pace as we go quickest in Q1. Well, Oscar Piastri tops the timing sheets at the end of Q1 here, so the pace definitely is there for us, only a 10th off of the McLaren driver. And then both Haas cars making it through. Sergio Perez, once again, winner of the Singapore Grand Prix in 2022, but now here 2 years later, knocked out in Q1. So heartbreak for him. Red Bull will once again be looking at their other options as his form starts to dip again after winning the last race in Baku. So maybe not so much king of the streets around Marina Bay. And then we have Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu both out, and Daniel Ricciardo and Logan Sargent will line up last on the grid. And actually, I believe, Logan Sargent is the only driver to not score points now that Nico Hülkenberg scored those 2 points with a 9th place last time out. But yeah, let's go through to Q2. The pace is definitely there. Well, now as we head up towards the final few corners, this has been quite a decent lap, but I just have a feeling we'll have to go out again. Although hopefully that feeling is incorrect. And now, yep, 6th place behind Lance Stroll, so we will definitely have to go out for another run, which is honestly a bummer, because now I will only have one fresh set of tires for Q3. If I do make it through safely after everyone finishes their laps, then I'm going to back off instantly just to save this set of tires. So already 3/10 back up after the first couple of turns. And now, I do believe we are safely through. Yes, we are. Well, I actually did get quite nervous there because I didn't think I was safely through at first after I backed off. So then I was like, oh no, But we did make it through. Max Verstappen 4/10 in front of Oscar Piastri, and then Leclerc just a couple hundredths behind. Fernando Alonso seems to be having a better time of it, although his teammate, once again, Lance Stroll outperforming him, which seems to be more of a common theme in 2024 than it was last year. We make it through 8/10 off the pace, but remember, we did only do one run. And then Kevin Magnussen in the Haas making it through as well, so good effort from him. So we have Hulkenberg, Albon, Gasly, Ocon, and Yuki Tsunoda all out. Very, very tight field. Top 10 all within a second of each other. So yeah, let's jump to Q3. Like I said in Q1, the pace is there. I think we can do this. This is the scrubbed set that we pretty much only did a lap and a third with at the end of Q2, the one that I backed off of. So this, I think we'll lose about, I don't know, a tenth and a half maybe on pure tire wear alone. So that really isn't anything, and it will be our qualifying pace that really determines where we are on the grid. So in other words, if I make mistakes, it's on me. Yep, as course as I say that, big snap coming out of there. So this lap will surely be the slowest in the field. Maybe, I don't know, ahead of Magnussen, because that was a big snap there. Luckily, I do have another fresh set of soft compound tires, as all the drivers are coming through now to set their first laps. As Max Verstappen sets the fastest time of the 128.006. We go across the line with a 129.5. So yeah, we're not even as fast as K-Mag. This has to be a near perfect lap. We need to channel our inner Lewis Hamilton 2018 here. Well, up towards the line, here we go. And it is not fastest, but we are 2/10 off of Max Verstappen. Can we start on the front row? That would be best case scenario, as Verstappen has dominated the timing sheets. Let's see where we are. So first comes a Mercedes, and then let's see. Norris goes ahead of Piastri, and Max Verstappen extends his lead even further. Of course he does. So yeah, that is a front row start for us for tomorrow's race, and that's our best qualifying performance in a while. Well, it never really was a doubt if Max Verstappen was going to start on pole position. Usually one of his weaker tracks in real life, but seems not in F124. Then comes ourselves and Lando Norris. And then our teammate Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri. So it's going to be a battle between Ferrari and McLaren tomorrow. So we need to make sure we get off the line well. I should be able to defend well enough. And then comes the two Aston Martins, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. And then George Russell and Lewis Hamilton line up 8th and 9th, close between those two. And then Kevin Magnussen, of course, starting 10th in his Haas car. This is one of Kevin's favorite circuits. And actually, he held the lap record here since 2018 up until 2023 when they changed the layout. But yeah, let's jump into the Grand Prix now. There is rain forecast at some point for the race, so this should be an exciting one.
Marina Bay hosted a Grand Prix that briefly ran in the 60s and 70s, but the Garden City re-entered the calendar for good in 2008. We missed it for a couple of years, but it was great to come back to the Singapore Grand Prix. Things have changed slightly around the Marina Bay circuit with 4 corners removed between turns 16 and 19. It means the lap length is now just over 3 miles, and that might come as a welcome relief to the drivers, and more especially their brakes. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Mr. Monaco completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Magnussen, Ocon, Gasly, Albon, Hülkenberg, Perez, Bottas, Joe, Ricciardo, Sargent, and Yuki Tsunoda. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me for the first time this season here in the commentary box, Naomi Schiff. Hello, Gnomes. Let's look at their season, and particularly against their teammate. Fair to say, they've got the better of them more often than not. Now, sadly, things didn't work out for them last time. It was a bad race. Question is, though, can they recover today?
It is true, they had a really tough day in the office last time out, but they cannot dwell on that. It's so important to turn the page and start on a blank slate, because the more you dwell on that, the less it's going to push you in the right direction. So take some notes. Obviously, there's things to be learned, but move on.
Well, I am trying to move on the best I can here at the Singapore Grand Prix. As we line up second on the grid, we're going to go for a one-stop strategy, which I assume is what everyone else will go for, but you never know what the AI are going to do here. So yeah, there is a little bit of rain forecast at the end of the Grand Prix as well. Not sure if it'll hit us, but that should add an exciting element, especially if, you know, we get a red flag or safety car that will bring the rain closer to us. So yeah, let's start this formation lap, try to get a good launch off the line.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. That may or may not play into some of the team's hands in today's race.
Well, as we all file through turns 1, 2, and 3, that's a lovely shot there. I really do like that. Everyone's starting on the medium compound tires.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Is now, you can see Ferrari, McLaren. There, Lando Norris starting behind us. And I can say, as I said at the end of qualifying, this will be a battle between Ferrari and McLaren this afternoon. So it is crucial that I get a good launch up the line, as Yuki Tsunoda lines up on the back row next to Logan Sargent. And now we are ready for the Singapore Grand Prix. 3, 4, 5 red lights, and it is lights out. And away we go. We didn't get as good of a reaction as Lando Norris, and our teammate Charles Leclerc now is going to try to go past us, but we're going to defend from him as aggressive as we can, try not to make any contact, force him out a little bit wider than he would like, just to delay him getting on the throttle. And now that is us in third position, although we did get a huge snap of oversteer there heading into that corner. And now we are already starting to lose touch with Lando Norris and Max Verstappen ahead. I figured our race pace would not be as good as our quali pace, but I really wasn't expecting Lando Norris to get off the line that well. Well, now as we round the final corner for the first time of 31 this afternoon.
Use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Afternoon, I should say night. Singapore time, obviously. Under the lights, F1's first night race back in 2008, which was a very memorable race, maybe not for the reasons you would think, but it has always thrilled us. We've seen dominant performances.
When trailing the car ahead, they're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past.
However, Lando and I seem to be sticking with Max very well, more Lando than myself. And now DRS is going to be enabled this lap. And then here is the section where I am slowest compared to the AI. And once grip gets low, historically, I am so terrible, but especially through that section. Now we are about 7/10 back. And we actually do have encouraging pace here on lap 2. As I said in qualifying, there's actually a DRS zone here now. However, they haven't added it to the game. At the time of recording this, free practice, it's Friday, so tomorrow will be qualifying day. And now Max Verstappen says the fastest lap of the race so far. Now we are very close to Lando Norris, closer than he is to the reigning world champion in his Red Bull car. Max Verstappen has never won around the Singapore Grand Prix, and I think he only has one podium around here. As now we're going to get on the throttle nice and early, and we're going to try to go around the outside of Lando Norris, and we do get that move done and dusted as we go purple. So definitely encouraging pace from ourselves. Our race pace seems to be extremely strong.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
So I'm just going to chuck the car into turns 1 and 2, just trying to get into Max Verstappen's DRS range. This car feels so quick. It just does and complies with whatever I tell it to do. Especially on corner entry, it is so strong. We do have a bit of a worn internal combustion engine ICE, so we will have a bit of low power output, but we do have a brand new turbocharger, so whatever we're lacking in straight line power, we can make up with our battery deployment. And now we have set ourselves free from Lando Norris's DRS. And that was a big mistake there from myself. As now we are going to be out of Verstappen's DRS range. Can't let that affect our pace, though. We got to get back on it. Well, now down the pit straight, we are back within DRS range of Verstappen, although we have used a lot of batteries. We're just going to take an alternate line to the Dutchman, as he gets a big ol' snap of wheel spin there, as you can see, running just behind him. And he's not pulling away in the front of the field as much as he is accustomed to. And now, here we go. Can this be the move? Are we going to see a change of lead here, as Mark is yapping in my ear? But yes, we are going to move up into first position now. The real question is, can we pull away from the Red Bull man? We'll see about that. I do know that coming out from the bridge, I am extremely slow on slow corner exit. As I said, I do love this track very much. And the car, as I said, is just so compliant with everything I do. The tires are starting to show a little bit of graining. And now Verstappen's going to deploy some battery down this back straight. Yeah, I think that new DRS zone they added is going to make a really good race this Sunday.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 2.3 seconds.
Well, we haven't pulled away from Max Verstappen as much as we'd like. But also that was a bit of a scruffy lap. But right now, for the first time in a while, we have fought for the lead of a Grand Prix. I think probably Spa was the last time I was fighting for a lead. Or the lead, I should say, of a race. And now Verstappen is gaining, but he's not close enough, and he knew that. So maybe if we could just pull away through this middle sector, then we will be far enough away from him in order for him to not make a move, because I don't want him close to us coming out of the bridge. It seems our straight line speed is far superior to that of the Red Bull, and us fighting away is just going to allow Lando Norris to get up to the back of us. So we need to pick up the pace here. So I can take this final corner completely flat out as long as I get the line right, and I did not get the line right. Had to go wide there, and Max Verstappen is going to capitalize on the mistake that we made, but we're going to go deep into turn 1 to make sure Max Verstappen does not take this position off of us. It's going to be very tight between the two of us, but no, we're just going to tuck in behind him. But I believe we have DRS. Yes, we do have DRS behind him. And now I'm going to push with all my might down this back straight. I want the inside line for this corner, but Max is just going to... Oh, how did I keep the car steady there? That was so close to retiring for the Grand Prix. Max moved extremely late, and we kind of went into the back of him. That was just... I cannot believe I'm still running in this race, to be honest. Well, we do need to clear Verstappen now, and surely this is it. We are so close to the back of him, and we need this clear air. Clear air will be king here this evening, because the dirty air is just going to destroy my tires. So I'm going to deploy battery, and I'm going to be extremely safe with it and go to the outside line, because Max will never let me have the inside. But I do have the grip and confidence to go right the way around the outside of him, and that's us back up into first position. Now we need to use this clean air to our advantage and get on with it. Well, you can see I just went wide there. That was a mistake on my part, but now Max Verstappen is all over my gearbox heading out of the bridge there. And now we're going to try to stay ahead of him. Pit window opens in 2 laps. Honestly, my rears are done, but my front left has not taken hardly any hit at all, as has been the case for whatever reason this season. Whoa, another snap there, which is going to put Verstappen all over the back of us. He's been just hunting for the move for the past few laps, but he doesn't get it done on that occasion. And we need to ease the throttle on, make sure we're not getting any wheel spin coming out of here, as I just do exactly what I said we don't need. As now here comes Max, and I'm going to cover the inside line for defense. And he's going to go around the outside. I can't force him off the circuit there. And now I think he might just see his way right on through. Unless we can stick it up the inside. No, we just have to back out. I know when to concede, especially racing Max Verstappen. He's one of the most aggressive drivers we've ever seen in Formula 1 history. Well, team want us in at the end of this lap, and I think I agree with that, as now we're going to be close enough to Verstappen to make a move. We're going to deploy a little bit of battery, and he's going to cover the inside line once again, and he gives us a car's width and nothing more there. As now going into the pit lane, we might actually be behind Max. Unless he decides to stay out a little longer. Oh, as I clobber up against the wall there. I was just looking down at my dash rather than the street in front of me. The wall's coming at you at 180 plus miles an hour. I might want to be more aware, you would think. So I just can't seem to get the throttle planted out of that corner there.
Box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach and make sure you don't speed.
So now we are going to come into the pit lane at the end of this lap. There's Lando Norris all over the back of me, so he's brought himself back up into play nicely. As now we are going to come into the pit lane, and I'm going to put recharge on while we are on the pits, and hopefully we can get a nice clean stop with no mistakes. And yes, we do, but we were just held there a little bit to have Max Verstappen go by us. And now we need to get ready to head out of the pit lane. So now Max goes across the line.
These tires now, we want to finish the race on this compound.
Alright, and now we are out in 9th position, still behind Max Verstappen. I'm actually glad we are ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, because the last thing we need is a car between the two of us. And oh yes, I can just feel how much grip there is on these tires. But we have fallen out of DRS.
Readings from a couple of the sensors, so I don't think you need to be worried, just some bad data. So keep doing what you're doing. I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems.
Oh no. If we retire from this race, I genuinely might go back into contract talks with McLaren or something, because, I mean, it's just ridiculous how many mechanical errors we've had. Not even just little things like the DRS not working or the ERS failing or being stuck in a lower engine mode or something like that. Those...
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Those kinds of issues are manageable. It's just the terminal engine failures where the engine explodes and car catches fire and smoke is billowing out of the back. It's just terrible. And it's something that I can't stand in Formula 1. If I don't have a reliable engine, how can I rely on myself to win Grand Prix? And now going into the pit lane, where will we be compared to other drivers? We are out of the range of Max Verstappen, and we are going to be ahead of Oscar Piastri. So now we are back up into our real positions. As now, are we going to be behind a second? Yes, we are. So we are back in DRS range of Verstappen. So this has brought us back into play very nicely. I've been able to find the grip on these tires, and now I have them fired up. It takes a little longer to get these tires into the optimal temperature window and fire them back up. But we did an extreme undercut on the drivers behind us. Piastri and Alonso and Norris are now 5 seconds back. So now it's me and Verstappen isolating ourselves at the front of the field, the two fastest drivers in this race so far, it appears. Two championship rivals, you could say. It's crucial that I outscore Max Verstappen as George Russell now out of the session.
Great stuff. It looked like you made easy work of that target. Let's try and keep that going right through to the end of the race.
Just look at the stopping power on this Ferrari car. I mean, the fact that I could stop from that far back, brake that much later, is just insane. This Ferrari has so much grip. It is complying so very nicely. And now we have Kevin Magnussen out of this session as well. It looks like he retired in the same spot George Russell did. So, another Ferrari engine going up in smoke, unfortunately. And now Max Verstappen needs to harvest some battery. Clearly he's using a lot more to try to stay ahead of me. But I think he's only delaying the inevitable here. Mark warning us that I'm using a little bit too much tire.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 10.3 seconds.
I'm having to manage extra because of this dirty air, so if I can just push a little harder to clear Max, then I can get back into my management mode. And now here we go. Deploy a whole bunch of battery. Switch to the outside. And I had the move done before we even got to the apex. Well, Max Verstappen has just been able to hang on to my coattails throughout the lap, but it's not just because of the DRS either. He has genuine pace. And now the gap has risen to 7 seconds to the nearest car behind us, who is Piastri in 3rd place. But Alonso also in that fight for a podium as well. But yeah, if the rain that was forecast does hit us, it will be on like the last lap or the penultimate lap, because if that does happen and we have, you know, no safety cars or anything, then that will be an exciting and thrilling final lap, because Verstappen is a lot faster in wet conditions than I am, and I'm sure he'll be able to adapt to a wet track on slick tires a lot easier, but it is extremely difficult to make a pass if he is daring enough to try on wet tires and slick conditions. But yeah, right now he is 4/10 behind, just holding on to my coattails. Now it looks like Max Verstappen is going to have a run on us into the final chicane of the lap, and I am going to hold the inside line. But actually, he has the grip to hold it, surprisingly. I actually wasn't expecting that. And he's going to cover me off into the final corner. Just slow me down a little bit, parks it on the apex. However, I'm going to go up the inside no matter how much he tries to force me over. And that was a brilliant move on my part, if I do say so myself. But now here goes Max once again on us. He's going to go have the inside line, and we're going to force him to take the acute angle. Is now we're going to go off the track just a little bit here. And now we're going to have the inside line this time around, hobble over the curbs, and Verstappen does snatch that position off of us.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
Well, now the team's saying 5 minutes until the rain, when 5 minutes ago they told me 15 minutes. So obviously the rain moving faster than they are expecting. But as I said, the rain should hit on like the final lap or somewhere around there, as I almost don't make the corner. Actually surprised I did. I had to get off of the brakes as to not lock them up. The last thing I need is a huge lockup to damage my tires, because tire management is key at this point of the Grand Prix. Well, there it is. I saw the flash signifying rain is coming, and the rain is inbound. So it is going to be on the final 4 laps that we'll start to have some rainfall. At the moment it is light sprinkles, but the grip is just going to start to go and go and go. So now I can already feel it, as now we need to make sure we're not making any mistakes whatsoever, because Max Verstappen will be there to pick up the pieces if we have even the tiniest lockup. If he gets even the smallest sniff of victory, he will lunge for it. Make no mistake of that.
The rain's going to keep getting heavier for the next 15 minutes at least.
So this rain is going to stay with us to the end of the Grand Prix. Oh, now here goes Max. I got a terrible exit out of that corner, and I cannot let him have this position. We're going to fight down this reprofiled back straight, introduced last season. So we're both going to deploy all the battery we can. And he's still going to try to hook it up around the outside, which then gives him the inside line for the next part of the chicane. And now, coming out of the final corner, we're going to have a big ol' helping of DRS as well. Trying to fake in there, see if he'll make a move to defend when he doesn't need to. So the gap to Piastri, it had gone up like 8 tenths, but now it is 1.6. As that was a terrible line through there. And now I'm convinced we're not going to be close enough to Verstappen to make a move. Or are we? It's going to be very close. Oh, should we send it? No, I thought about sending it. But I didn't. I was talking about how Verstappen is a lot more adaptable in these sorts of conditions, so I'm going to have to rely on my battery down the straights to keep me in touch with the Dutchman. Next time around will be the final lap, so that'll be my last opportunity to get past Max. The last thing I need, though, is for DRS to be disabled. Hopefully the stewards don't deem it too wet out on the track. And then into turn 1, I'm going to have to switch my battery to charge mode. And now this is our last real opportunity to get past Max Verstappen. Are we going to be close enough? No, we are not. It looks like we might have just thrown away the win here today unless we can have a risky lunge down the inside in wet conditions. It's looking like our chances of winning the Singapore Grand Prix are all but over. Although we are all over the back of him. I think he has used all of his battery up. And now Max Verstappen seems to have done it. He overtook me at the most optimal time. Now, unless he has soaked up all of his battery here at the end, no, we are going to come off second best. Verstappen's going to round the final corner to win the Singapore Grand Prix. We're going to have to settle for second.
Yes, nice work, mate. You did a really good job today. Pretty sure the boss is going to be happy with that one.
I really should have won that race. Sergio Perez, driver of the day.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Nope, there we go, Max Verstappen. Winner of the Singapore Grand Prix. Our first podium since Spa. But it really should be us on the top step of that podium. Too many mistakes on my end. But gotta be happy for Max. He drove like a champion today and extends his championship lead over Charles Leclerc. And there's still plenty to celebrate around, but we need to go over the data back at Ferrari.
Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we go. In the end, Fernando Alonso was not able to clear Piastri, but surprisingly, Norris wasn't able to clear Alonso. And then comes Charles Leclerc, Lance Stroll, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez making a good recovery to 9th. Esteban Ocon scoring some more points for Alpine. So this means that now there's a 52 point gap in the championship between Leclerc and Verstappen. And Constructors' standings is now just 13 points between Scuderia Ferrari and Red Bull. So very, very close there between us. But yeah, this was a very good race. Pace seems to be improving. Not happy with the result, though. I mean, we did take the fastest lap, but we really, really should have won the Grand Prix today. However, we'll go back over the data and telemetry back at Maranello, and I'll see you guys next time out. For the race in Austin, Texas at the Circuit of the Americas, the United States Grand Prix is up next. See you then.